Good evening, everyone. Very welcome to Inside Line Racing for round number 3 of ILR6 here at the Shanghai circuit, the Chinese Grand Prix. Always an interesting track that is sure to throw up a few spanners in the works, a few wrenches. This track always presents a little something different. My name is Graham, and I'm going to do my best to help bring the action tonight. We've got a nice grid, 19 drivers here today. Lots of different strategies you can see across the board. So hopefully we get a good race, good strategies, good racing. And let's see how it will all unfold across not only this qualifying session, but across the 29 laps that are to unfold after this conclusion of qualifying. So as the guys are kind of setting times, you see some times going across the board there. Smudge and John setting some decent times on soft compound tyres. We'll get to that strategy element in a sec. We'll pick a car to go on board with that isn't going to do me head in with the glitch, the engine glitch. I'll go through the standings right quick. So at the top is Antatak. He's leading on 29 points. Danskar in second, who DNF'd last race on 25. Dogs in third, he's now full time in ILR6, 20 points. Pinsky, who had a fortunate error there last week that cost him the win in Bahrain, is on 18 points, and he's tied with Stallion, who's also now full time in ILR6. He's on 18 points, and then Mr. Crumpet then on 16 points then behind him then in sixth. And the constructors, it is Red Bull leading the way on 29 points. They're tied with Ferrari on 29 points, and then McLaren then in third on 25 points, just ahead of Mercedes on 24. So far fastest lap is a 31.55 plays on the ultra soft tyre. So we're seeing lots of split strategies here today. Of course, at China there is, of course, we have our 3 compounds, but they are ultra soft, soft and medium. The super soft, the middle compound between those two, is skipped, and this presents an interesting dynamic for the race. In terms of strategy, we'll get to that in a bit, but it's interesting to see across the board a few less people on the softs than I might have anticipated. Excuse me, but we'll have to see as John could do a second lap on his softs and doesn't improve. Still 32.7 for John. Baza, we know Baza likes to start on the harder compound. He's 34.3 on the set of softs. I have a feeling he can go a bit quicker than that, but he's going to go into the pit. So for these guys on softs, there is just one run. Oh, there's an accident back there. I think Mr. Crumpet had to go, well, not an accident, but had to get right out of it, did Crumpet. There's a lot of traffic on that back straight as guys trying to get themselves ready for a qualifying lap, and he has to come into the pits. Jay Fernandez on a lap on soft tyres. Navigates the traffic. Ooh, misses the apex and runs wide at that big hairpin. I believe it is turn 14. And he's going to come into the pits. Yes, it is turn 14. So anyone looking to improve on their laps? The judge is on a lap, but he's got very, very low fuel. Heavy braking into 14. Clips that apex nicely though. Very narrow line on exit. Is he going to bail on this lap? Is he going to come in? He is indeed. So the thing with these ultra softs is there isn't really much point in doing multiple laps on them. You're best off doing one and coming back in, because these ultra softs, they fade extremely quickly around this track. We're going to be looking at guys pitting lap 3 and 4, I think easily. If you're good with a tyre wear, 5 or 6, maybe even 7 if you're feeling up to it. But by that time the soft runners will be very much quicker than you are on those ultras. So it's just another aspect to consider. But the likes of Ant, the likes of Plays, they stayed their intentions early by going quickly on those ultras, and Ant is out for another run. So these guys prioritising track position rather than strategy. We'll have to see how it turns out for them. But now more and more people you can see in the top, basically the top 10, but of course down the field as well, guys who've got margin to improve on that soft tyre. So they're all getting ready to come back out again as we did below the 10-minute mark in this qualifying session. So Smudge is going to come in. The other thing you want to avoid is, as well, even if you're on the softs, you want to avoid staying out there for too long. You don't want to take too much life out of these softs, put too much wear on them, so when the race comes, you know, you want to be able to extend this advantage that you have starting on the softs. You don't want to spend too much time in qualifying dilly-dallying on those softs. It takes away from your advantage in the race. As we have, I think, Pro Opa beginning his lap. I think he's one of a few on a lap. Actually starting a lap. His Dog's on a lap himself. He's literally just starting himself as well. So we'll stick with Dogs. His first lap on these softs. Oh, it goes wide in turn 1. And that is his lap absolutely ruined. And he'll have to back off and try again. So just missed it. Missed the apex. And that's Snail turn 1. And that is his lap ruined. But the softs, they can go again. And so he just needs to recharge his ERS, though. He wouldn't have used a ton, to be fair, in that one corner. It's Pro Opa. There's a lot of traffic on track. These guys have to be very careful. Not only on their hot lap, but guys on their out lap have to be careful and acknowledge the traffic around them and try and get out the way as best they can. There's 19 drivers. It's a long enough track now, to be fair, so they should be getting out the way. It's Pro Opa. Continues on, heads down now towards sector 3, navigates turns 11 and 12. This turn 12, one of the most important corners on the track. If you nail it, you're in for a good lap, and if you don't get it right, you leave yourself vulnerable, especially in the race. And of course, it's a DRS. As Pro Opa comes down towards turn 14. Oh, gives it the back end, and that will be his lap ruined. So it was looking quite clean until then. He's going to come into the pits. No, he's going to continue to. He's going to try and finish the lap, even though it's going to be a lot slower, and he doesn't improve. That's unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, we've got Ant on a lap, missing that apex slightly, run a bit wide on exit. So he runs up to turn 16. Can he improve on this 32 flat? Oh, a 30.9 for Ant. Convincingly puts him on pole position. Plays, is coming up to sector 3. So he'll have to dig deep for an answer to that time. As Crumpet runs wide. Oh, Iverbryn Mike got some traffic in front of him. So it's a Force India of the same rampage it is. He lets him go. And files in behind Rob then as well. Rob goes up to 9th. So where his Plays at then, Plays we get near the end of the lap. Here he is, sliding his way out of turn 14 and through 15. And the short run to 16. As Pro Opa is retired from the session. Coming across line, can Plays respond to the 31.4. So we lost a lot of time, I think, with the back end sliding out of turn 14. And he'll have time for one more run on the Self Ultras. As Crumpet comes across the line, still can't improve. He's actually just starting a lap, to be fair about with Dogs then. Dogs had that difficult first lap. Not binned it rather, you went wide at turn 1 as goes up to P6 at 32.9, marginally behind Alex. In 5th, that's not a bad lap by Dogs on the soft compound tyres, but I have to say Smudge looking pretty comfortable in that garage. I can't imagine he'll want to go anywhere. Starting in a very good position on those softs as things stand. Can anyone come close to it? It's going to be very difficult now. Who have we got? Close to the end of a lap. Insane Rampage. We'll stick with the Force India, so we had to get out of his way. A couple of cars had to get by him. Has that compromised the start of this lap in terms of exit speed out of this turn 16? We're going to find out. Takes it very nicely, that turn 16, that final corner. Comes across the line. It's 37, so somewhere along the way he's had a mistake and doesn't improve on his current time. What about Jacko? On the Ultra Softs. And he's diving into the pits. He'll get one more run. And has dived into the pits as well. I wonder if Plays, is he saving up for another run in those Ultras? He saved all of his ERS. We'll have to find out. Crumpet goes 10th, 33.6 on those softs. Murdoch trying to navigate his way through turn 1, 2 and 3. The exit of 4. Runs a bit wide. Oh, he's going to save that for going to the wall. He has, but it is a spin. And well, that is, if he was on the lap, which I think he was running very low ERS anyways. Certainly that is that lap going to be abandoned. And the poor lad has been disqualified for going the wrong way. So, yep, that's a very harsh penalty there. And unfortunately for Murdoch, he will be starting at the back of the field due to that disqualification. So that's unfortunate for him. He needs a spot open then in the top 10 for someone to try and fill that gap. At the moment it's Baza, who is off a detour on the track himself. Will he face the same fate? No, because he retires instead. It's the same Rampage. I think went for another lap on those Ultras, to be fair. 34 flat from him. We have Mara Messi getting ready for a lap. It was a very quiet qualifying session for Mara Messi so far. He's going to have to nail this lap. He's quicker than where he is right now. So he's going to have to hope for a good lap, and this will probably be his last attempt as well. Reese is on the lap, he's on the softs. And unlike many... Oh, there's a car facing the wrong way. I'm not too sure who that is. It's Fernandez. So, blindsided. Definitely blindsided Reese, but Reese is one of the few drivers that actually saving his sauce for near the end of the session when the track is a bit more rubbered in. We have a bit more performance to be had. How's the lap time going to look? I think it's going to be right up there, you know. It's going to be up there. In terms of top... I thought maybe he might have stuck into the top 7 or so, but it looks like it may have been an invalidation because it's still at 34.3 for Reese. So Fernandez starts his lap. The judge heading down to turn 6. Anton Plays, they're out again. So we got Smudge, John, Alex. I think we're not going to see them return in this session. What about Jacko? Jacko on a fresh set of softs then. He's looking good at the moment. Set his time on Ultras, but I think he said, oh, that's got, it's very, very wide. And I think that's going to be, it was a 35.7. So definitely probably would have been invalidated there at the end. So I think Jacko is going to be starting on those Ultras. As Mara Messi, there you go, that's a bit more like it. 32.9 on those Ultras puts him up to 7th. As we've only got a few drivers left really, because a lot of them have retired. That's the judge in the Sauber, heading down towards the hairpin of turn 14. Hits that apex with a very slow exit. And he darts to the line. It's not an improvement to 35.6, so he doesn't go quicker. How about Reese? 34.3 is his fastest, didn't improve on that lap either. Just 25 seconds remaining. Jacko on a lap. He'll have enough time to finish it. How about Plays and Ants? Where are they at? Ants has just started the lap. Plays a little bit further on in sector 2. So go back to Jacko, I think. Sitting P8 at the moment. Is there any improvement to be had on his lap that could lift him into the top 5 possibly? Bit of a better exit this time at the last corner, but that still count to 34 flat, so he doesn't improve. He remains in P8. Who'll be first across the line between this lot? I think it will be Plays. Heading down the long back straight, one of the longest straights in F1. How's he hitting this apex? Misses it slightly. And again the back end stepping out. So is that his best chance gone then? Really attacking that last corner. 31.7. He's lost a good chunk of time in that section once again, but I'm not sure would have been enough anyways. How about the judge? I don't think he's going to improve on his lap, is he? No, stays in P16. Reese is into the pits and Raul Ant is set for pole, but can he go even quicker on his current time? To 31.1. He's slower than his previous best, but that doesn't matter because he has claimed pole position for the Chinese Grand Prix by over basically half a second over Plays in second. So Ant looking good at the front row, but of course he's got the strategies to keep in mind. Smudge, John, Alex, Dogs, I think they're all going to be contenders here as well. We shall find out very soon. So there we go then, that's the end of qualifying. This Ant attack on pole position. But he is on the ultra softs, and that has to be noted, that has to be stressed, because these ultras die quickly. And you're asking a lot of mediums to go to the end. It's possible, but they're going to be much older than the guys behind. So it's Ant on pole by nearly half a second, Plays further 1.5 seconds back of this lot, then Smudge in third, John fourth, Alex fifth, Dog sixth, all on softs. Mara Messi 7th, Jacko 8th, Pro Open 9th, Mr. Crumpet 10th, Baza 11th, Rob 12th, Insane Rampage 13th, Reese 14th, Ivory Mike 15th, Judge 16th, Rixie 17th, Fernandez 18th, and Murdoch in 19th after that unfortunate disqualification for going the wrong way as he was trying to recover from a spin. So I'm assuming by the choice of tyre that it is going to be a dry race. It'd be very unusual for the guys to set times on softs if it was raining for the race, at least to begin with. And indeed it is dry, a little cloudy, but it is dry. As we wait for the drivers to make their selections in terms of strategy, in terms of fuel, tweaks to the setup to help them in the race. Anything that you can do to help your tyre wear in this race will be good. Of course, there's only limited number of options available to the drivers in terms of setup changes. You could change the brake bias, you could change the front wing, you could change the differential. That's about all you can change though. Everything else, the suspension, the ballast, that's all set. There's 28 laps, excuse me, not 29. So begin the formation lap. And no surprise really that everyone outside the top 10 is avoiding the ultra soft tyre, and Baza is the lone exception, as he kind of has been usually. Goes on the hardest tyre. He is on the medium tyre, so he can go long into this race and see what happens. Interestingly, he's trying that though. I think he's going to leave himself a little vulnerable off the start compared to these runners on softs. That launch will be that little bit more with the softer tyre compared to the medium. Same goes for the likes of Mara Messi, Jacko and Pro Opa. On the guys in front of them like Dogs, Alex, John, these guys might get a better run off the line with that grippier ultra soft tyre. And the same with Ants and Plays, they should get a better run than Smudge and John, in that party. But of course they've got each other to contend with, and it's a short run to turn one, but it's a turn one that can cause all sorts of chaos. So you have to be extremely careful. As Ant leads them on. How long can they go? Ant and Plays, they're arguably the quickest around, but the strategy, how's that going to work for them? It's the front left carcass of these ultra softs that goes very, very quickly. And once that goes around lap 4 or so, even lap 3 to some degree, then you're going to see the likes of Smudge and John and Alex and Dogs, even the guys then the second banks and the second line rather. You have the likes of Mara Messi, Jacko, Pro Opa. They're going to come under pressure as well from the guys behind on the harder tyres. So it's going to be difficult. But let's see, 28 laps. That's a lot to be decided. Here we go then, as Ant rejoins the front, where a few people are already waiting for him. Unfortunately, driving on the formation lap is not as easy as it appears, apparently, if we have people disqualified, if we have 5 drivers disqualified. But there you go. And the Mercedes of Murdoch then, the last to take his place. And once he halts his motion, we can go racing. Here we go then. The Chinese Grand Prix for round number 3 of ILR6 is on now already. That looks like a very good start from Ant out the front. They should be safe heading to turn 1. There's a car off the track already. I think that's Insane Rampage. Oh, there's a Force India in the wall. That's also Rampage as Ant leads them into turn 1. I think Fernandez got caught in that instance as well. But leading them through is Ant and Smudge and John. Not much has changed really. At the front, as Crumpus trying to hang on around the outside. He's got his teammate Jacko very, very close as well as they run down to turn 6. Dogs and Baza getting close as well. They stay in formation. Usually turn 6, corner of chaos, and there's the judge. He's gone spinning around and he's lost power of that front wing. There's Rampage. Rixie got involved in that as well. He also is without a front wing. And Fernandez looks like he's safe in terms of damage. And Baza and Reese try to fight their way through the middle sector. A little bit of contact and Reese is off the track. He's able to rejoin. Has to be very, very careful. Space is left to him by Rob. I think he's got damage on that left front as well as Reese. As they get ready to charge themselves down this long back straight for the first time. Alex and Jacko going at it. Alex on the outside. Let's go through the embankment. At the front, Ant leads them away. You can see a lot developing at the back. A few laggy cars. Alex on the outside. Got Smudge and John fighting for P3. Jacko trying to hold this position from Alex. That pull him into the clutches of Crumpet, not quite. It's Murdoch very close to a move as well. Oh, John's out. She's lost it coming out of the final corner. So that's one of the contenders for this race out already. Side by side, Jacko and Alex still heading through turn 1. No safety car looks like for the moment. And Jacko's hold on to his position quite well as Mike is in the pits. Alex caught in a Ferrari sandwich. Jacko's done well to hold that position. At the front, it's quite close as well. Oh, down the inside, Play's trying to go for a move and he's missed the corner completely, but luckily for him, he's far enough in front of Smudge that he's able to regain or rejoin the track and maintain his position. Baza moves through on Dogs. Absolutely flying start by Baza. He's up into P7 on those mediums. Fantastic start for him. As Mara Messi getting close to the back of Reese for P11. So Mara Messi's gone backwards on this opening lap. Not good for someone whose tyres are going to wear off quite quickly with those ultra softs. The gap to keep an eye on though is the gap between Smudge and Plays. It's 1.5 seconds. And how soon will that gap begin to come down? Oh, I think Rob is off the track. He is, he's in the wall. Not too sure what happened there, if he came into contact with another car, but he's in the wall, missing part of his front wing. Has to be very careful how he rejoins the track. Meanwhile, Baza looking to hunt down Mr. Crumpush. He's used a lot of his ERS already. Has Baza, thinks about a move, but files back in to make the corner of turn 14. And Reese, oh, I think there may have been some desync there. It's Alex and Jacko's in the pits already. So that just shows you how quickly those ultra softs are going. Jacko's in the pits. Mara Messi's in the pits. I did see some wing flying. May have been some desync or lag involved in that. It just seemed to fly out of nowhere, didn't it? Meanwhile, Plays getting very, very close to Ant. On the run down to turn 6 again. He missed this corner last time. and swoops into the racing line. Oh, very, very close. I think there was slight contact, but lucky that Plays didn't lose his way, and this fighting has allowed Smudge to catch up to the back of Ant and Plays. Of course, we're getting closer to the period where the Ultras will be the less preferential tyre to be on, the soft the one to be on. Ant defending from Plays. Bit of contact, he squeezed off the track a bit, but Ant is done. He's been done by Smudge. I think his tyres are beginning to go off. And will Smudge go down the inside? Sorry, Plays rather took that position. Oh, running off the track a bit. That was a little naughty from Smudge. But Smudge does move up into P2. And now the DRS enabled this lap. He can look to get after that McLaren, but I think Ant's tyres are done. Seem to be losing grip all that lap. And Baza and Dogs has come back at Baza. I think Baza may have had an off somewhere, because he's over 2 seconds behind Crumpet now, and Dogs has moved back into that position of P6. Will Ant come into the pits? Top two are going on, and Ant does dive into the pits lap 3, so again these tyres not lasting long at all. Smudge getting closer to Plays. This will not be the tyre to be on. You can see him understeering, struggling to make the corner, make the apex. And where will Ant emerge then? How much in traffic will he emerge? Looks like he'll merge into Peely. Will the Judge get ahead of him? He'll be close. And he's going to get ahead. So Fernandez, will he get ahead too? He will, just about. So Ant could be ahead of Jacko. He is. So Ant has popped out then in P10. On a set of softs no less, so he is committed then to the two-stop. Is Ant, or is Jacko will try go to the end on those mediums. You can see the front end and the back just twitching on that McLaren as the tyres have just dropped off. And now it's just a matter of biding the time for Smudge. He'll know his advantage, and he'll know coming out of this bank turn 13 that Plays won't have a lot to fight with. Look at him struggling to make the corner, and Smudge will go down the inside and should get the move done even before the DRS, and he can bump it up now into hot lap. He'll have the DRS, so he should be able to pull away, but Plays runs a good straight line speed, but not enough to contend with the DRS of Smudge. And Smudge could have moved back across that line, but went in for the defensive line. As Dogs is off the track, he's into a wall out of turn 13 and is missing part of his wing. And that's another contender possibly out of the mix here as Plays comes into the pits to ditch those Ultras. Now what will he do compared to Ant? Ant put a set of softs on, commission himself to the two-stop. What will Plays do in response? Looks like a set of softs. Slow away, is he? Or is that just lag? No, I think it was just lag. It's Ant getting close to the Judge, so Ant is obviously ahead. Gould got the undercut, and he'll slip by Judge into P7. So easy move there. And Plays is actually, sorry I misjudged that, Plays has actually got ahead of Ant. Of course Ant was behind making that stop, so my apologies, undercut didn't quite work for Ant, he's still behind. But interesting to see how those two get on now in comparison to, say, Jacko, who's on same mediums. Will try go to the end, whereas we know Ant and Plays will have to make a second stop. As Dogs is in the pits and comes out again near the back of the grid. So the field has spread out a bit now. And lap 5, so you have a couple of guys in the pits now. The Ultra Soft runners are in. They've all ditched that qualifying set. And they're on the softs or the mediums now. Jacko getting pent up behind Fernandez. He's going to go for a move, had a sniff, just a bit too far back, kicks a wheel up on the grass, and looks a lot more stable, doesn't he, than both of these Saubers are both struggling to get the car through turn 13, and surely Jacko be able to get this move done when he get the double overtake done. He's going to try. The Saubers are being cooperative. And Fernandez bails out and Jacko down the inside. Can he get it done on Judge? A double overtake, a little bit of a squeeze. But Jacko gets the double overtake done on the two Saubers and moves up into P8. And now Ant is his next target, though I can't say. I'd have a hard time imagining that Jacko will be able to close on Ant, at least at the beginning of this stint. Of course, Ant on the quicker, soft tyre. And now between himself and Plays, the God driver on, as the judge is off the track and is missing part of his front wing. Not sure if that was always apparent, but the back end's kicking out. And he's lost ground, so has Judge. But this is a crucial point in the race now for Plays and Ant, because they're on fresh softs. We don't know if Jacko's going to the end. I'd imagine he will. He'll do his best anyways. But Ant and Plays definitely have to stop again. So they've got to really extend this advantage now over Jacko while these tyres are still fresh, and they're in fresh air themselves now. Of course, Ant is around 2 seconds behind Plays, but Plays has got a lot of clean air in front of him between himself and Murdoch, who of course has yet to pit. So this is a very important part of the race. While these softs are still fresh, they need to be kicking out an advantage over Jacko, and they have done, to be fair. The gap is already 7 seconds. They've got to get a pit stop effectively ahead, or close enough to it, that when they put on another set of softs, I would imagine that they would be in the position then to take back any place that Jacko might be able to make up on these two by doing one less stop. This Play setting the pace, 36.2, and can't keep up with that pace. How about Jacko's pace? 38.8. So you can see the difference in terms of pace between maybe not only tyre, but maybe drivers. Only got yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, and Pro Opa's off the track. That is at the end of the hairpins. That is turn 14, and I can only imagine, considering how far he's gone, he's missed the corner, or he's come into contact or some sort of incident with another car. His wing looks intact, so he'll be good to go on, but he has left the session. So that is him out of the race then. Meanwhile, we knew the judge was struggling with that wing damage, and Ivor Bryn Mike just behind him. He's got to be careful to avoid clattering into the back of him himself, ruining his race. Tries to swoop around the outside and manages to do so. A nice move by Mike there, but of course made possible by the wing damage of Judge. Meanwhile, Baza is getting closer to Crumpet again, so whatever mistake Baza made earlier in the race, he's caught up to the back of Crumpet, just 3/10, and I wonder how these soft tyres are doing compared to those mediums. And there you go, Crumpet dives into the pit, so just 6 laps on those softs. So he dives into the pits then. We'll see where he falls. On the judge is just losing places absolutely left, right and centre. Mara Messi's gone by him, Reese has gone by him. I think Judge may have to just cut his losses and come in and replace that front wing, put on a set of mediums, and try to go to the end of the race. Yellow flag sector 3. That's because Rob is off the track again. Ooh, has to be very careful. Rejoin the track. He's missing his wing once again. And oh, Crumpet and Jacko. Jacko's had an off somewhere. He's fighting with his teammate now as they charge down towards turn 6. That's a terrible mistake for Crumpet, because now, or for Jacko rather, because now he is, I'd say, out of contention of this race now, and Plays. They should be safe now, even with an extra stop to do. They'll be able to re-overtake. Jacko should make a second stop, and actually just getting where that Pro Opa actually is internet disconnected, as Rob was retired from the session. Not sure where that is. Dogs and Rampage side by side. Let's go through turn 6 through 7 and 8, the middle sector, the swooping middle sector. Very satisfying sector to drive now, I have to say. Wings look intact, so it looks like a nice little scrap here. Of course, Dogs on a bit fresher tyres. It seems to be rocking a bit more pace today around this track than Rampage. So we'll see if he can set himself up for an overtake. Well, these two Ferraris are still going at it. Jacko's lost out to Crumpet now, and Ivor Bryn Mike has passed Fernandez. So a few overtakes going now. If he tries to fight back, oh, loses the back end, catches it, but not in time to let Messi go, as well as Reese. So we're seeing quite a number of mistakes here. That's leading to overtakes as well. No mistakes here though. This dog's down the inside. Well, I say no mistakes, he's locked up and he's missed the apex completely, and Rampage will go back through, secure himself into P14, but for how much longer? Decent run for Dogs coming out of the final corner with the DRS as well. Switches to the inside line, and this should be moved on into turn 1. Assuming it doesn't go wide. And Rampage is still there, but has to get out of it. And as Dogs end up at the P14. Meanwhile, Ant, just 3 seconds behind Plays now. Plays looks like he's got a bit more pace, and Smudge is in the pits now. So Smudge, one of the effective race leaders possibly, is now in the pits, lap 10. He is pitting, and he'll put on the set of mediums and will go to the end. So Plays and Ant, they will emerge ahead of him, but of course we know that they both have to make another pit stop. And there you go then. Nice gap for Smudge to feed into, of course, with Crumpet and Jacko having their various ding-dongs. And Smudge now just 2.3 seconds behind Ant, so interesting to see how this will work out. I'll keep an eye on Alex as well, he was quite close as well. It's Baza and Murdoch, speaking of close, the 2 Mercedes. Wasn't the greatest outing for them in Bahrain, but on paper, at least for now, with a better outing. Meanwhile, battle for 10th. Reese, to be fair, Reese has been behind Messi now for a good few laps now. These two have been quite close on track as they file their way through Sector 2. I think the softs are going off a little bit now on Messi's car, and Reese with the mediums bit of advantage as Murdoch and Baza very close to each other. Will Murdoch come into the pits to replace those softs? He doesn't. So Baza, I'd say, probably is on the better tyre at the moment than his teammate, but no hints of team orders here at the moment, as Murdoch holds the position. Meanwhile, Judge has decided to continue to tour around with that wing down, just lost out now to Dogs. To be fair, he should have pitted a long time ago. Judge, he's lost a bucketload of time. He's going to be basically last. Never mind the pit stop, he'll be effectively last right now. Oh, actually, well, maybe not, because Rixie's actually touring around and last at the moment. So that is moved on then, as Messi has got by, or has dropped behind Reese now. And so as Reese up into P10 mentioned that those tyres may be falling away, and I think that's the case. Can Messi fight back? Not really, gets up on the curb, slides in a bit. And he's down now to P11. The closest battle really then is between the 2 Mercedes. Baza will run a bit longer into this race before he decides to ditch those mediums, but how much longer can Murdoch run? Should he really be impeding his teammate? Can his teammate go faster on those mediums behind him? Is he just stuck in the dirty air? Hasn't got close enough to him to make a pass on with the DRS. So surely soon Murdoch will dive into the pits, but it doesn't look like he's going in this lap. So it could be another lap that Baza is stuck behind his teammate, but he's getting a bit closer. It won't be close enough though, as Alex is into the pits, so the race leader is into the pits then, set of mediums. Now where is Smudge? Ant will go by, Plays will go by. Here is Smudge. And it's not going to be close enough for Alex. He is behind Smudge in P6 now is Alex. Just a couple of seconds behind Smudge, who is in turn a few seconds behind Ant. 12 of 28. The field has spread a little bit. There's a few battles going on here and there, but nothing major. Of course, we still have the second round of pit stops to occur yet for those who committed to the two-stop. And that will be coming up sooner rather than later, you'd imagine. Of course, a few people yet to make a stop: Fernandez, Judge, Baza and Murdoch. Of course, the Saubers are kind of nowhere. And the Mercedes closer to the front, but they are being caught by plays as the laps continue to rack up here in Shanghai. Getting close to some lap traffic, I believe. Not sure if that's a car that has left the session, as Dogs has got by Fernandez for P12. Murdoch continues on. Still, his teammate is being held. That's the Williams of Rixey, so you'll have to get out of the way soon. That's Ant going very wide at the background. And Baza's disconnected, so that's a dreadful shame for him. He was running well in second. Can he get back in his car quickly so he doesn't lose too much ground? Of course, the guys behind him, Plays and Ants and Smudge and Alex as well, though, should be able to get by the stricken Mercedes, as Murdoch has navigated the lap to traffic. Baza get back in. Hopefully he can. As Rampage all over the back of Fernandez, and Fernandez dives into the pit. So finally the Sauber is coming in for his first stop, I believe. And this hasn't worked. Oh, and both of them are coming in, so that's not exactly very well planned by the two Saubers. Not only they haven't communicated this one well at all, and that is 1,000 yards too soon to engage the pit limiter, and he's lost a lot of time. But to be fair, he kind of has to. Luckily for these two, it is Fernandez who hasn't got the wing damage. It's Judge. Will his team be ready for him? No, they're not. He's still got a yellow flag detector. I assume that's just the car of Baza. I mean, look at this. This is the problem you get when you fail to communicate your pit stops. I have no idea what just happened. But Murdoch is in the pits. Apparently that pit stop did take place, but heck if I saw it. So Murdoch is into the pits, puts on a set of mediums, and he should pop out into P6. He's got a nice gap between him and Crumpet, so... Well, maybe not nice, this could be closer than I thought, actually. Will Crumpet get by? It's going to be close. I think he will get by. Well, do you get... I think he'll squeeze in the head of Jacko, will he? And he stopped. He stopped at the end of the pit lane. What has gone on here? I've absolutely no idea, but Mara Messi's out. Where has that happened to? Has he collided into the pit lane? Oh, he has. Oh, no. Oh, you hate to see that. I've no idea what happened to Murdoch. It just seemed to stop at the end of the pit lane. Absolutely bizarre. As Jacko trying to fight off Ivor Bryn Mike for P7. Both these guys have made their stops and are going to the end. Or at least that's their hope. So Mike showing a bit more pace on these mediums at this phase of the race. And Alex is getting very close to Baza, but of course you know Baza, oh, he did get back in his car. So that Mercedes is trundling along, and Alex gets by and moves up into P4. Of course Baza has not, I don't believe has made a stop yet. He has not. And Mike then overtake mode enabled. Go down the inside on Jacko, and should get this move done for P7. Can Jacko get the switch back? He's got a decent run, but he'll have the outside for turn 16. Has to find him behind. It's not really a place he can really, it's tough to fight from there. And that is Mike into 7th. Then Rixie is out of the race now as well. No safety car yet though. Not at this stage. Smudge getting close to Ant, so I think these softs are beginning to fade on this Red Bull. Just 0.4 of a second now separate Ant from Smudge. Ooh, we have a slide there from Smudge, and Alex is right behind this as well, so I think we're basically seeing between the fight down, or the showdown rather, between Smudge and Alex for this race win, because these two, Ant and Plays, have to pit again, and they will be well out of contention for this race then when they emerge from that stop. So it's not been the best strategy then for these two, but now it's about Alex and Smudge for the win today here in China. That 15 of 18. Surely these two will be considered pitting soon. Plays and Plays is going on, and surely though, losing as much time as he is, will he come in? No, he's turning around still. Are they close enough to think about a move? Alex, not really. Smudge, not really either. So he'll survive. 5 seconds is the advantage between Plays and Ant. Ooh, Smudge thinking about sending his car down the inside. The gap was always closing though. Lap 16. We can see the action pick up here now. The rest of the field is kind of quiet, but it's this battle here for P2 that has our attention. Ant on the 2 stop, Smudge on the 1, Alex on the 1. And the pace difference hasn't been enough from Ant and Plays to really make this work. To come back at these guys once they make their stops, which should be any moment now. And the judge trying to get out of the way. A lapped car, and has done well to be fair, letting 3 lap cars go in a short straight. Rampage, look like he's got by Fernandez into P12, but we'll stick with this one. It's a bit too far, aren't they, to be thinking about a move. Plays has lost a bit of time this lap as well. The gap is 4.4 seconds. It was hovering around 5, as Mike getting closer to Crumpet now as well, so he had success hunting down 1 Ferrari. Might have success doing another as Plays is in the pits. Ant follows him, and now Smudge and Alex can renew battle for the win here in China. Here we go then. Should be another set of softs going onto that car, is indeed. And the same for Ant as well. So they'll go to the end on those softs. Will Crumpet get by? He will. So these guys are going to have a few cars to navigate. He should pop in between P7 and 8. Plays actually in 4th and in 7th. Tried to fend from Jacko and 8, so that's the difference that 5 seconds makes. As Mike and Crumpet trying to fight. Ooh, trying to go on the outside was Mike, who was kind of cut off. But the charge down to turn 6. Down the hill. What do you think about a move? It's a little too far. So that's the difference then between P4 and 7 was 5 seconds, or 4.5 really, heading into the stops. And Plays, difference is Plays got lots of clean air to chase down Baza, who of course is yet to make a stop. And Ant then has got a few cars to dispatch. Cars that should be, well, they're going to try to go to the end, but Mike's tyres are going to be fairly old come that stage. I think we're getting to a point where Baza should be considering making a stop very soon as well. Of course, the last person yet to make a stop started, of course, on those mediums, and it's time soon. Yellow flag in sector 3, not sure that's about, but that's Crumpet going extremely wide. Lucky not to be tossed up by that curb, and Mike just a bit too far to make a move on this occasion. So Crumpet's got away with one there. The 2 Saubers dueling away, and Fernandez actually let Judge go. It seems that Mike is into the pit, so he couldn't end the race on that set. Just diving into the pits, then slows down in time. Jacko will move by, and he should pop out in P11. Should Mike, possibly even P10 actually, or even P9. Short run down to the straight yellow flag in sector 1. Oh, Jacko's, I think is he off the track again? think Jacko's been off the track again. He's a little slow coming out of turn 4, didn't he? And Mike is just behind Murdoch then for P9. So Ant is catching Crumpet, of course, much fresher tyres. And very, very soon he'll be all over the back of that Ferrari and in the DRS range, and he is already. It should be a fairly rudimentary move for Ant to move back up into P5 at the front. Gap is 1.3 seconds between Smudge and Alex. The difference is that Alex's tyres are 2 laps fresher. Will that have a factor come the end of this race? And trying to get by in turn 13. Manages to do so. And we'll have the DRS as well, so that should be moved on then. For Ant into P5, he's got 5.5 seconds to make up on plays. Can he do it? He struggled to match Plays' pace all races. Baza finally comes into the pits to ditch those mediums. That move Plays into third and Ant into fourth. This Plays setting the lap times now. So Baza, where will Baza emerge? We'll find out soon. As Mike and Murdoch, Mike down the inside, big lock up. In an effort to avoid running into the back of him. Baza looks like he's popped out just in P7. 3 seconds behind Jacko, who's got extremely worn tyres. So Baza could be on for a top 5 finish here, possibly. If you can keep it clean, there's a good result waiting for him today after starting at the back of the grid. So the fight for P9, Mike is still trying to get it done. But a bit too far away this time to have a think into turn 6. This is the closest battle on track at the moment, lap 19 or 28. Getting close to the end of this race and through this sector. Mike has gotten close, but no way through past that Mercedes. At least not yet. He'll get a great chance coming out of the embankment of turn 13. He'll be close enough. Oh, Murdoch a bit wide. Oh, and Mike has to get right off the throttle. I don't know if there's contact between the two, desync or something. There's wing damage on Murdoch's car. Front wing damage. Didn't look like any contact on my screen at least. But Mike is by Murdoch then into P9. And Reese is into the pits now, so he couldn't take those laps to those tyres till the end. Oh, Jacko will try, but his tyres are looking fairly shot, aren't they? And Baza will be all over the back of him very, very quickly. Well, the gap at the front, meanwhile, has come down to under a second. It's 0.6. So very, very close then between these two. Smudge and Alex both started on the soft tyre. It was the right strategy to be on. It's always been the right strategy to do around China, but others preferred to prioritise track position instead. And Plays and Ant, they're paying the price for their strategies. They will not be finishing where they started, first and second. Baza pushing to get by Jacko. Can he set himself up through 11, 12 and 13? You have the DRS. And he looks like he's closing rapidly, so this should be an easy move down the inside. Jacko doesn't really fight it too much. And that should be Baza then if he makes the corner. Jacko though trying to fight on the outside. Might still have it actually. We'll have the inside for turn 16. Will Baza just sweep in and claim the corner? No. He leaves the space for Jacko. It looks like Jacko will survive for the time being and maintain his P6. But for how much longer can he elude that Mercedes? 7/10 separating the front two. I wonder if tyres will come into will be a factor. 9 lap old compared to 11 laps old. Alex in his advantage as Baza. We have a look down to turn 6. Thought about it. Jacko's gone defensive. Baza will try to switch back, and with the better traction, he'll zip by Jacko and move into P6. And now he's 6.9 seconds behind Crumpet, who's got 13 lap old mediums. 7 laps remaining. It's possible, but he's going to have to get a real push on now as Baza if he wants that 5th place. You are very close again between these two, the Williams and the Haas. Just get the feeling that Alex, can he get close enough to get within that 4, 5, 10th range to be able to close enough to, with ERS and DRS, actually get by Smudge? Because it looks like Smudge has gone covered in terms of straight line speed. He's just not able to get close enough, Alex, is he? He's going to have to hope for one of those two things, a tyre to kick in, or just gets a much better run in general. Maybe Smudge through a mistake, possibly, maybe coming out turn 13 onto that back straight. That's his hope. Of course, you've still got a few laps remaining yet. That 22 of 28. As Jacko is in the pit, so it was a big ask to get those tyres to the end. Had to pit in, I think he actually pitted lap 2 for mediums. So it's been too much. He's putting on a set of softs, and he will go to the end. Murdoch, I think, will he pop out ahead of him? If he does, then Jacko will feed into P9 then, and he will, and Reese won't be able to get that done, so he feeds into P9, will Jacko? And I'd imagine then that will be the end of the pit stops, unless Crumpet has an issue late on, but to be honest, he could probably get to the end now from here. But Baza is catching on 3.6 seconds, been closing rapidly. Now the gap at the front has just gone up a bit this last lap. 1.1 seconds, there's been a lap traffic to negotiate. I believe that's Fernandez. Possibly not. No, it's actually the Force India of Insane Rampage, and the Julie gets out of the way. So I have to keep an eye then. Keep an eye on Crumpet and Baza, but I think Baza sooner rather than later will be on the back of that Ferrari. We'll check the lap times really, may as well. Not a ton else going on at the moment. 3 rounds, turn 16. Crumpet, 14 lap old mediums. 37.9 for him. 35.4 for Baza. So obviously you can see the difference in the tyres reflected in the lap time. And I think by almost at the end of this lap, I think it could be safe to assume that Baza could be within DRS range of Crumpet. If not, he'll be past him. Lap 23, 1.1, separating the front two. It seems like Smudge has had an answer for anything that Alex has thrown his way. He just hasn't been able to, he's got close as Alex, but not close enough to really consider going for a move, or even half a move rather. And I think he's just saving his ERS for the time being, storing away. You can see the difference between himself and Smudge, so maybe that's where he's storing up for. As Jacko on the back of Murdoch, much fresher tyres, softer compound. I think we'll see that move done soon as well. Baza not within DRS range quite yet of Crumpet. Maybe next lap. But Jacko certainly is within DRS range, and certainly looking like he will definitely get moved done by the end of turn 14, if not even, could even sneak through here through 12 and 13 as Murdoch runs wide. Jacko will have to hug the apex and is through. And that's him up into P8, and I think that's as far as his progress will go. 12 seconds behind Mike, with just 5 laps remaining, including the one they're on. But Murdoch trying to fight back though. Murdoch down the inside, and he actually managed to take back that position in Murdoch. So I thought the move was done for Jacko, considering the tyre life, but not quite. He runs very, very wide out of the final corner. So not a done deal by any means for Jacko. He's got to do the work all over again, but should be able to get it done. little bit closer this lap is Alex, back within DRS range. And Smudge has gone to the defensive line. It's very cautious of him. Probably didn't need to do that. Didn't think there was any chance that Smudge would actually, or Alex would actually overtake him on that straight, but there you go. He's taking no chances when it comes to this race win. As they move on to lap 25, just 4 laps remaining. It's Baza and Crumpet getting close. Not close enough though to make a move about Jacko. Same part of the track again. Murdoch goes very, very wide. Jacko follows him basically. I think could have hugged that line a bit more, but regardless, it's an overtake with the DRS. He's going to fly by Murdoch then, but can Murdoch fight back? Jacko moves it back across onto the racing line. Will Murdoch try a late switch? No. I think he's admitted defeat on this one. That's Jacko then into P8. So we've seen one Ferrari pass a Mercedes, and now we're looking to see if a Mercedes can get by the Ferrari for P5. Baza, he did catch up to Crumpet, but I think his progress has been halted these last few laps. Hasn't been as quick as he may have thought, getting up to the back of that Ferrari. And we'll see then how his luck is in terms of passes. Shame he disconnected to Baza, but would that have changed too much really? Did he lose 12 seconds in that process? Would he be where Ant is had he not disconnected? Well, it's hard to say really, but we can say for certain though he's getting close to the back of Crumpet. The dirty air you can see affecting his progress, unable to hug that apex, hug that curb. He's going to get close, but I don't think he's going to get close enough. Yellow flag in sector 3. Looks all clean at the moment. Move on to lap 26. Bit of traffic to negotiate as the judge lets them both go. They can continue their battle. Lap 26. You can see the dirty air, what's affecting Baza on those tyres. Very tentative coming out of turn 4 and through the kink of 5 down the hill into turn 6. And still unable to get by. Meanwhile at the front though, a lot closer, because Alex has pumped it up into a hot lap and Smudge does not have a lot of ERS to fight backwards. So here we go then. This could be the best chance for Alex to take the race lead. That would surely be the race win. Smudge has got defensive. He's going to force Alex to drive around the outside. Oh, a bit of contact between the two. A kick at the back end for Smudge and Alex, and Smudge is still able to hold the lead. Was that Alex's best chance then to grab this race win? Let's move on to the penultimate lap. Just caught on the outside. Was he forced off the track? Was he squeezed out of room? Hard to say, as Baza looking down the inside of Crumpet for P5. Crumpet's going to try and fight back though, but surely a better traction. Crumpet on the outside is actually allowed traction. Baza, so the outside line, the racing line, proved to be the better one, as Alex still right behind Smudge, who is trying to save as much ERS as he can, whereas Alex has a bit more to use through this lap. He can run too low, while Smudge is running no deployment. Running wide in the dirty air. How's the exit then onto this back straight? Oh, had to get in and back out, didn't he? He was on the curb, had to get out of it, and he's just lost some ground there. Has Alex and he's not going to be close enough to make the move into turn 14. He's got one more. Oh, the door is left open, and Alex definitely considered going down through it. As Baza really looking to get this move done into turn 11. Or turn 12 rather. Looks like he's got that move done. Meanwhile, the final lap has begun. Smudge still holding an advantage over Alex in P2. And Baza looks like he's got that move done, so that's Baza into P5 then. Dogs is right behind. Reese as well for the final point. Let's keep an eye on that, but we want to keep an eye on this battle at the front. Yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, we got Crumpet and Baza still going at it. And Crumpet's able to retake the position, is he? Baza down the inside into the last corner. He's left the space, to be fair. They're all side by side. Crumpet will have DRS. Will that be enough to send them through as they begin the final lap of the race? Oh, it's dangerously parked was that. Was that car? I think it might have been a Sauber. Crumpet still able to keep that position. Alex still not quite close enough, but he's got a bit of ERS, so a Smudge. Is that enough? Is that enough to fight for? Is that enough to lift Alex past Smudge for the rest of an insane rampage? Oh, Alex has lost the back end, and that'll be it then. That'll be his challenge defeated. Baza still looking to fight Crumpet. She's on the grass. Oh, tries to go around the outside, but caught on the grass himself. Meanwhile, Smudge has come down the hairpin one last time. It's been a brilliant race from him. He's defended well, managed it beautifully at the front. And Smudge is going to come across line. He wins the Chinese Grand Prix ahead of Alex in second. Plays will finish in third place. Oh, he's lost the back end, but keeps it out of the wall. He'll finish third. Anton, a very lonely race for Anton in the end, finishing up in fourth. The pole sitter by some margin was nailed to keep it in the end. The strategy was the wrong one. He finishes fourth. Baza and Crumpet still going at it. Will there be a dive into the last corner by Baza? Surely it's all or nothing at this stage. No, he's going to try and get better exit. He has got much better exit. Runs a bit wide himself. And Crumpet will keep that P5 ahead of Baza in 6th and Mike in 7th. Just 3/10 behind in the end. Looks like Baza had a penalty. Have to check for speed and pit lane, speed and penalties as well. Jacko then round in the final corner. He will take 8th place. And Murdoch then not too far behind him in 9th. And Reese was able to hold off Dogs in the end for P10. And there you go. So Smudge then taking the race win. That mistake. I wonder how Alex will be feeling. Was he pushed off the track? And had he not made that mistake on the last lap, how close could he have gotten? Would it have mattered? Maybe not. But there you go. I'll take a few cheeky points for that. And let me just check the race director very quickly. So only Fernandez had an unserved stop go in the end. So it is Smudge then who's won the Chinese Grand Prix. I have Alex in 2nd, Plays in 3rd, Anton 4th, Crumpet 5th, Baza 6th, Mike 7th, Jacko 8th, Murdoch 9th, Reese 10th, Dogs 11th, Judge in 12th. I think rounding out the finishers, we lost Rampage. Proba disconnected a while before. Fernandez we lost, I think, as well. Unless he was just well, I think he was just well down the field actually. So he was just finished 15th, 2 laps down. Messi 16th, Rixie 17th. Of course, all out of the race. Rob 19th and John. We lost John very early actually. It'd be interesting to see how he may have been fixed, where he would have figured into the equation in all of this, in this battle. Of course, lost the back end very early in the race. So we'll try and get these guys in for a quick chat. Who we need to invite? We need to invite Smudge. There's one. Alex and then plays. See if any of them join. Give them a minute or two and see if they'll join for a chat. Surely one of them will turn up, you would imagine. So one doesn't have a mic. Not too sure who that is. Just give them another minute or two and see. Wasn't a bad race in the end, to be fair. It was okay. See anything going in the YouTube comments? I think I don't think anyone's going to be joining here today, so oh well, that's just how it goes. Sometimes you get people who want to turn up and sometimes you don't. So anyways, that's going to do it for round number 3 of ILR6. Next up, of course, is the infamous Baku. I've seen a few league races there, and I've seen it claim a lot of victims. So how will these boys handle it? It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see. So until next time, from ILR6, it is Smudge taking the win ahead of Alex, and then plays in third. The championship leader Ant heading into this one, disappointed in 4th place after his ultra soft strategy didn't work, and like plays lost out when it came to pit stops. So until next time, we'll see you later.